What's good, everybody? I'm here to cover my second favorite legendary Pokemon, Kyurem. They've got some absolutely massive reworks, so I would definitely sit back and listen to the full video because I got a lot I need to cover because this is a pretty drastic change. So, the Kyurem White and Kyurem Black now function as Mega Evolutions, similar to Zemlo Dominitan, Shaman's Guy, and a few other Pokemon that are planned. Yeah, cool new Mega Evolutions. Reason being, Reshiram and Zekrom are going to be trainer locked to post-game Rainbow Rocket fights. They are not available for player use. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to get the fusions. And, it could just say, oh, make the fusions trainer only. Who gives a fuck? I give a fuck because Kyurem's fusions are fucking sick. And the main reason I did this is because once I was planning out all the type combinations for the hack and I was figuring out what was going to be what, I noticed I was only about 4 or 5 type combinations off from having every single type combination, and Ice Fire was one of those. And the only candidate for an Ice Fire type in the entire game, Gens 1 through 7, is of course Kyurem White. Yeah, they're not Dragon type anymore. Is that weird? Yeah, who gives a fuck? It's cool. They are Mega Evolutions. Is that weird? Yeah. Who gives a fuck? It's cool. If you got a problem with it, I don't know what to tell you. They don't have Fusion Bolt or Fusion Flare anymore. Reason being, those moves are repurposed into general moves that most fire and electric types can learn, logically at least. However, don't fret. They do have Stab. Kyurem Black has Galvanize, which I'll get into how awesome that is, but that's how Kyurem Black has Stab, while Kyurem White has Sweltering Sun, which is essentially permanent sun, right? As long as it's on the field, it is immune to water. It functions like that's a Lilanda, right? So it's immune to water, and it has that permanent Weather Ball via TM. And then technically, Kyurem Black also has Nature Power if it's using Bolt Rush for Thunderbolt, which is terrain boosted coming off of 140 special attack. Not nearly as high as its physical attack stat, but Bolt Rush is more of a situational thing anyways. You would be using your physical Ice Stab, and then you'd be using like Thunderbolt on the side if you want Electric Stab as well on a Bolt Rush set. Is it kind of weird and scuffed? Yeah. Do I give a fuck? No. This is really fucking cool, and I really like it. So, yeah. Also, I don't want base Kyurem to get overshadowed here because base Kyurem is also absolutely incredible and situationally much better than Kyurem Black and White because it can hold an item, because it has a different type combo, because it's stronger with an item technically. For example, Choice Specs Kyurem is stronger than Kyurem Black, although maybe not actually because of the Galvanized moves, which are very strong. Speaking of, I'll get into those now. On the physical side, you have Giga Impact, which is 160 base power and drops your attack stat by 2. You have Strength, which is normal type close combat. You have Retaliate, which is 95 base power. You have Rage, which is 80 base power, and obviously will boost you up. So you could use like Galvanized Rage plus Dragon Dance or something. You do have really good bulk. Ice type is actually buffed in this hack, so all 3 of these guys have a new type chart effectiveness. Kyurem White is immune to water with Sweltering Sun. It is neutral. Both Kyurem Black and White are neutral to ground now instead of weak because Ice now resists ground, flying, dragon, and ice. So they are neutral to ground. Kyurem White has actually a lot of resistances. Kyurem Black 4 times resist flying. Kyurem White has like 6 resistances, and then another 4 times resist to ice, so it has 7 resistances. I don't have time to get into every single one. Just know that they're pretty damn good. Kyurem Black has a little bit less resistances, but it still has a 4 times resist to flying and a useful resistance to ice and all this other stuff. So Kyurem Black is also great, and of course, both offensive combos are not only very unique, only shared by Rotom Frost, and that's it in Kyurem Black's case at least. Yeah, and their mediocre speed tier, not bad. It's good. It's good enough with stuff like Dragon Dance or Sticky Webs, or honestly just in agility or just in general in game. You can only use speedy sets whenever you need to outspeed the opponent. Keep in mind, all of these buffs and changes are always going to be balanced for in-game use. If you are new here and you just happen to be clicking on this video, and if you got this far into the video and you don't know this yet, also make sure you check out the description below. I have a very detailed Google sheet, and you can check out all 600 plus move buffs and changes. Those are really important. But like I said, their mediocre speed tier is patched up by Slush Rush, Volt Rush, and Solar Rush, all of which give them double speed in either Hail, Electric Terrain, or Sun. And of course, Sun and Hail is buffed even more by the fact that the items now give 6 extra turns as opposed to 3, the Heat Rock and Icy Rock and stuff. So you don't need a Snow Warning user or Drought user at all. This hack is balanced for you using what you get. For example, in a Nuzlocke, you can use what you get to beat the boss fights if you're smart about it and you teach the right moves and you use the right items and you use the right abilities, because every Pokemon is designed to have 2 viable abilities at a time. So Refrigerate turns into Galvanize. Refrigerate is very powerful. Hyper Beam, Hyper Voice are your big nukes. Hyper Beam is an absolute nuke with Refrigerate coming off of 140 special attack. I made some minor changes to Kyurem's stats. I just thought that being more of a special attacker fits their vibe and fits with the power creep of the hack, because 140 special attack is not that crazy anymore. No, it's still amazing, obviously. Like, it doesn't change how strong it is. It's just like looking at other Pokemon who have similar special attacks, that I would want Kyurem to be a little bit higher than 130. You know, again, just for that power creep. Very tanky, 125, 90, 90, very, very good. HP is a lot less common to be high. Above 800 HP is less common because I try to base HP more on size. These guys are giant dragons, of course, despite not being dragon type in their mega forms. Again, I acknowledge that that's weird. Like, if it weirds you out, sorry, I think it's cool. You have base Kyurem to use if you need that Dragon Stab. Dragon moves in general are much stronger. Dragon Rush is close combat. Draco Meteor is 150 base power. Dragon Pulse is 100 base power. No drawbacks, 30% chance to para. You got all types of great Dragon options. Kyurem White, like I said, is that permanent Weather Ball. You can also use Freeze Dry or Solar Beam, which are awesome. Alongside that permanent Weather Ball, again, that water immunity is huge. Weather Ball is very strong. That means that Kyurem White does not lack Fire Stab. And then if you're using Solar Rush, of course, you're still going to have Weather Ball via TM. And the beautiful part is Weather Ball is easily reteachable, as well as all of these normal type moves for Galvanize are reteachable. So switching between Kyurem Black and Kyurem White, depending on the boss fight, is very, very easy. Also, the logic, I didn't cover this yet, but the logic of the Mega Evolving is you hold the key items of the Dark Stone and the Light Stone, which you'll be able to purchase. I have tested it in-game, and it does work. And if it doesn't work as like a key item that you purchase, if you can't equip it, even though I tested it and you can, if you can't for some reason, all you have to do is just go into PK Hex and slap on the Dark Stone on their actual held item, and then remove it, and now you can use it as a held item on any Pokemon, any Kyurem you have. So it's very easy to fix. And you're going to need to use PK Hex to unlock Mega Evolution anyways, so you should know how to use PK Hex if you're downloading this ROM hack. Like, you should be able to run that. It's not hard at all. They do have reliable recovery and roost, which is nice for bulkier sets. Bulkier sets are viable. Like I said, they have good resistances. They're very strong without investment. They have stuff like Battle Cry, Breaking Swipe, Aurora Beam, Parting Shot, Roost, which are all great utility moves that you can take advantage of. Setup-wise, not the best. In this hack, setup moves are not the best. They're a lot easier to counter now, at least in terms of the AI, because obviously most people who do Nuzlocke know how easy it is to just cheese the AI on setup. So I do put a lot of countermeasures to make that a little bit more difficult, but in general, it's still nice to have options of Swords Dance, Calm Mind, and Dragon Dance, all of which are nice for Kyurem if they do want to do that. Like I said, Volt Rush, Kyurem Black can run Nature Power. It does get kind of the short end of the stick there because it only has 90 base power Thunderbolt, which is boosted in terrain, but it only comes off the 140 special attack as opposed to 190, and it can't hold a boosting item or anything. But honestly, you're only going to be using Thunderbolt from Nature Power if you need it. Otherwise, you'll just be running physical Ice Stab and then coverage moves or something. So either way, he's big chillin'. They've got beautiful moves. Icicle Crash is very strong now, 110 base power, 90% accurate, so that's great for Kyurem Black. And base Kyurem if you are running a physical set for a specific boss fight, if you need that Ice Dragon combo with Draco Jet or Ice Shard or something. Ice Shard is also greatly appreciated. Frost Flurry is also greatly appreciated, which is priority. It's special Ice Shard. Twister, Draco Jet, those are priority. All these great moves that they have access to. This actually took a lot quicker than I thought. Like I said, they got great coverage. Aura Sphere, Energy Ball. They've got the dual stab, which are both already beautiful combos to begin with. Earthquake, Takedown, all these great coverage moves. Zen Headbutt, Stone Edge, Focus Blast, Superpower. All these moves are buffed or changed, so give those a look in the description below. I really do encourage it if you've yet to do so. I think I can actually just finish it off here. I guess I can try to list out the resistances for people who are too lazy to figure it out. Kyurem White resists Fairy, Flying, Dragon, Bug, Immune to Water with Sweltering Sun up. The only thing that can override Sweltering Sun is Guarding Gale, because Stormy Sea and Stormy Seas, but Stormy Seas is only on one pre-post game Pokemon, and that is yet to be revealed. And then Lugia is catchable post game, which has Stormy Seas as well. So those are the only two Stormy Seas Pokemon that you'll be able to use. One of them is still yet to be announced or revealed, I guess. Kyurem Black, of course, doesn't have to deal with the fact that Sweltering Sun could be overrode. Galvanize is permanent, and I really like the fact that both of them get permanent stab in the form of their abilities, because obviously learning electric and fire type moves makes zero sense whatsoever for Kyurem. They learned Sunny Day, but that's a weird exception. A lot of weird Pokemon learn Sunny Day, but in terms of like actual fire attacks like Flamethrower or Thunderbolt, those do not fit Kyurem whatsoever. The whole point of Kyurem is that he doesn't have access to those powers until he fuses into the original dragon, so that just goes against everything they stand for, in my opinion, to give them actual stab moves. But like I said, Weather Ball and then Galvanize are totally good enough. Those are very strong. 190 special attack with Weather Ball in the sun, boosted and stab is more than strong enough. And then, of course, Galvanize Stone Edge, or sorry, excuse me, Galvanize, Giga Impact, or Strength, or Retaliate are all very powerful as well. So, or Rage, those are your physical Galvanize options. And then, of course, you could run a nice little mix set on Kyurem Black with like Hyper Beam, 192 base power with Galvanize. You could use that, drop your special attack stat, and then go for stuff like Icicle Crash or Strength or whatever for physical stab. That'd be pretty fun. Yeah, I'll leave the video off there. Actually, I think I covered these guys pretty briefly. I could go more into detail about my thought process for doing this, but honestly, I can answer comments. I don't want to drag this on too long anymore. So, yeah, I appreciate you listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I think it's super sick. And that wraps up Unova, everybody. We're done. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. I really do appreciate it. We've only got 2 generations left, and they're really short. So, let's get it. Peace, everyone.